Hello and welcome to Code of the Academy, where you gain in-demand tech skills for today's world. In this lesson, we are going to look at how to edit and humanize AI-generated content. So, what are the objectives for this lesson? At the end of this lesson, we should be able to identify and correct weaknesses in AI-generated content such as tone issues, repetition, and factual errors. Edit systematically to enhance clarity, flow, and reader engagement. We should also be able to align content with brand voice, audience expectations, and platform requirements. Ensure accuracy by fact checking and removing AI hallucinations or missing misleading details. And we should be able to apply chain of thought insights and quality checklists to refine and evaluate final content. Now, let's dive in. So, why should we edit AI outputs? AI models like ChatGPT are remarkably good at generating fluent, well structured text in seconds. However, their strength lies in pattern recognition, not human understanding. AI models don't have lived experiences, emotions, or the ability to verify real world facts in real time. So, as a result, some of these AI generated content often sounds plausible but shallow, fluent but inaccurate, or structured but impersonal. So, AI outputs can sound robotic, contain inaccuracies, or miss emotional resonance. This is where human intervention becomes essential. So, human editors bridge the gap between machine efficiency and human authenticity. That is, editing ensures that the content not only reads well, but it also connects with real people. It builds trust and represents the brand authentically. So, what does human editing add to the AI generated content? And the first one is trustworthiness. AI can unintentionally introduce hallucinations, and hallucinations means that the information sounds true but is completely false. So a human editor verifies facts, it adds credible sources, updates outdated references, and ensures that the content aligns with current knowledge and ethical standards. An example is verifying stats or statistics, checking brand names, and confirming recent news before publication. The second thing we also look at is relatability. Machines, these AI models, such as the ChatGPT, can't truly feel emotions, humor, or cultural nuances. Human editors adapt to the tone, language, and examples to reflect real audience experiences and cultural context. So this one, an example is rephrasing a generic AI output into a conversational tone or using local expressions that resonate with the readers. And another reason why human editing is important is usefulness. Although the AI generated content is grammatically correct, it might lack practical value or a clear flow. Human editing structures ideas logically, adds transitions, clarifies steps, and includes actionable insights or calls to action. An example is turning a vague paragraph into a step-by-step guide that helps readers do something specific. Brand alignment. AI doesn't inherently understand brand tone, values, or style. So human editors ensure the message fits the brand's identity, whether that means sounding friendly, authoritative, or innovative. An example is adjusting a formal AI response into a friendly, upbeat message consistent with the brand's social media voice. AI speeds up content creation, but human brings truth, tone, and trust. The next thing we are going to look at is understanding chain of thought reasoning in AI. So, what is chain of thought reasoning? Chain of thought reasoning is a technique that prompts AI models to break down complex problems into a series of smaller logical steps, mirroring human problem solving. So, you can say it's a process whereby an AI model generates step by step reasoning before giving a final answer. And chain of thought prompting encourages the AI model to break down complex problems into smaller steps and explain its reasoning. So, chain of thoughts or COC reasoning is like showing the AI model is showing its workings when solving, let's say, a math problem or explaining how it reached a conclusion. So, a simple example that we can look at is if I have three apples and buy two more, how many do I have? Without COT, the AI will say five. And with COT, the AI, you can start like you start with three apples, you add two more. It will give you the step by step solution, which means the total is five. So, how does COT works behind the scenes? So, to first receive the prompt, that is, the AI model gets the question or the task, and the hidden reasoning generated. It will create a sequence of logical steps, that is the COT. Behind the scenes, this is mostly not shown to the end user. Then the final answer is produced. That is, it summarizes the reasoning into a clear output of the user. Why does chain of thoughts or COT matter? The first one is better accuracy. So COT helps the AI model to avoid jumping into hasty conclusions. The second one is transparency. It makes complex reasoning easier to trace or explain. The third one is an increase in the problem solving power. It allows handling of multi-step problems, that is math, logic, and analysis. And the decision making of the AI model is improved. This is because it forces the model to consider alternatives before giving its final answer. So, where does the chain of thought help the most? We have complex problem solving. Examples are math, logic puzzles, reasoning tests. The second one is code generation and debugging, data analysis or multi-step research task, essay writing and content outlining, and the last one is AI agents performing multi-action task. That is research plus summarize plus create plan. So there are variants of COT techniques, and some of these are standard COT. That is, let's think step by step reasoning style. So in this, when you are prompting the AI, you ask it to think step by step. You get it. You also have self consistency. That is, the AI generates multiple reasoning paths and picks the most consistent answer. The third one is tree of thoughts. Tree of thoughts. So like COT, but this one explores multiple reasoning branches before deciding. A tree branches, you get it. And chain of verification. So after reasoning, the AI verifies its own steps for correctness. So COT reasoning helps AI more like humans. That is, it breaks problems into steps, evaluates them logically, and produce stronger and more reliable answers. Now let's look at some common problems in AI outputs. What are some common problems in AI outputs which birth the need for humans to edit such outputs? So the first one is repetition and redundancy. So most often when you give some specific prompts to AI models, these AI models restate the same idea multiple times, especially when that chat is very long. When that chat is very long. So to fix this, we can merge or remove similar sentences so that the AI would know what we really want and give us our desired output. The second problem is vagueness and generic claims. So mostly you find some of these statements in quotes. Many people find this helpful and so on. So to correct this, we can replace the prompt with real examples or data. We've talked about hallucination and it's here also. So AI invents the AI model instead of giving us verified or credible answers. Based on its training data, it will invent its own data and quotes. So to correct this, you have to verify and also delete false claims. The fourth one is tone mismatch. Tone mismatch. So let's say in your prompt, you ask the AI to be, let's say, casual, but after you got your answer or the output from the AI, you see the tone does not meet what you need. So to correct this, you can adjust the diction and rhythm of the prompt. And also another problem is complex sentences. That is, these sentences are hard to read. So some people can type a prompt, let's say over a 50-word prompt, more than that. So to correct this, you can split and simplify a prompt. And the last one is bias or stereotypes. Mostly the outputs that we get from AI are based on their training data or the data that has been fed to train that AI model. So if there are biases or stereotypes, in that data, these can reflect in the output that we get from that AI model. So to correct this, you reframe the prompt with inclusive language. Now, let's look at the editing workflow, how to edit AI content. So the first one is to define the goals and audience. You define the goals and audience. Second one is read the drafts for flow. You read the draft for flow. Fix structure and remove fluff. Improve clarity and readability. Adjust tone and brand voice. Add examples and details. Optimize for SEO and accessibility. Verify facts and add sources. Polish for concision and grammar. Then the last step is you review and you finalize. So, what are some humanizing techniques that we can learn? So, the first one is the tone that we want our output to be in, whether casual, formal, friendly, the Gen Z vibe, and all that. The second one is emotion, sad, happy, etc. Specificity. So you have to also look at that. And the voice, you also have to look at that. So let's say we are editing for some specific platforms. What are some guidelines that we can look at? So for blogs, you add the structure, headings, and the SEO keywords that you want in there. LinkedIn, the tone should be professional with the storytelling vibe. Instagram should be conversational and emoji friendly captions. Emails should be personal, accent driven, and video scripts should use natural spoken language. So here are some prompt templates for humanization. So let's copy these prompts, paste it into ChatGPT. We'll demonstrate all of them and see the responses that we would get. So let's copy and paste the first prompt into ChatGPT and look at the response that we would get. So humanize the text below, that is, make it warmer, use simpler sentences, and add a relatable story. So let's say, let's type out a prompt here. So write a narrative about Ghana. So let's use something like this. So Ghana, a story of warmth, resilience, and narrative. So I'm going to read out, I think it's a whole lot. So I'll be reading parts, not read the whole out. So what you can see what we've been talking about today. So when Nama stepped off the trotro in Accra, the warm breeze wrapped around her like a welcome hug. She had grown up in a small village near Cape Coast, where mornings began with the smell of corn porridge and the sound of roosters. Now, at 24, she was chasing a dream of starting a small clothing business in the bustling capital. So let's go down. The food, oh, it's something you don't forget. Jollof rice, wati, fufu, it's like soup. Its meals feels like a celebration and all of that. So, as you can see, there are some words in here that are not very common to ordinary Ghanaian. So, let's say this what you want to post. So that means you have to go back, read everything, then know some of these subtle changes that you have to make. An example is the sound of roosters. Many people don't know what a rooster is. That's a milk. That's a cock. That's a cock. So you can just replace those stuff and you make them more relatable. And you get it. So these are ways to humanize AI content. And with the same prompt, let's try that for, let's use another prompt, but for the same story. So let me copy this prompt and paste it to ChatGPT. So for the same output, but this time you are rewriting it for LinkedIn, professional, it's conversational too. So you get it. So you can see this one too. When Amma stepped off the trotro in Accra, she wasn't just entering a new city. She was stepping into a dream raised in a small village near Cape Coast. And so you can see this kind of professional, and for a platform like LinkedIn, this is very accurate for it. So here is a practice exercise that you can try on your own and see all that we've discussed in this lesson. So you can see there is a review and feedback using the rubric, and the rubric is attached in the next slide. So the criteria that you are going to use is you check for the clarity and flow, the tone and voice, facts and accuracy, engagement, and creativity. So to conclude, you know that AI creates, but humans connect the dots. And editing bridges the gap between AI efficiency and authentic communication. Fact checking and tone refinements make AI content trustworthy and audience ready. Human creativity add brand awareness. Human creativity and brand awareness turn generic drafts into meaningful and memorable content. And the goal is not to replace humans with AI, but to enhance creativity through collaboration. So that's the end of this lesson. And from the team at School Dev Pay Academy, we say thank you for sticking with us and see you in the next lesson. Code Dev Pay Academy, learn, build, and